Hi boys and girls, it is Wednesday, May 20th, and we are going to do our math inside of our e-learning packets. Go ahead and find the math section of your e-learning packet. Today we began on week 3, day 3. Week 3, day 3. Week 3, day 3 looks just like this. It has our base 10 pieces. And our first objective is to use those pieces to count. The big base 10 piece that you see right here, this is going to be 100. These smaller skinny sticks are tens because if we were to count each one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there are 10 small ones inside of here, so this is a 10. These tiny little ones over to the side are ones. So if I were to count this to see how much I have here, I'd have 100, 110, 120, 130, 131, 132. So that's why you see underneath our base 10 cubes, you see 132. Okay, that's the value that we see with our cubes. Let's try by counting A together. We've got 100 here, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, and 165. But rather than just writing 165, they want us to write the number's name. So they want us to use word form. So we would need to say 100 65 165. All right, let's count the next one. We've got 100, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 241, 242. So we've got 242. All right, and if I were to write that down in word form using my words and letters, I would say 242. We've got 242 here. All right, C. I'm going to count it up and I'm going to let you write it in word form this time. We've got 100, 110, because now we're moving on to our tens, 120, 130, 140, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158. I've got 158 here, and if I were to write that in word form, I'd have 158. Okay, I'm going to let you write that in word form the best that you can. Now, the thing about word form is it's okay if you don't know how to spell your numbers. So say I didn't know how to spell 100. Okay, that's fine. I can just stretch it out or sound it out. N, d, ed. 100. Okay, so try your best. It doesn't matter if it's not spelled perfectly correct, as long as I can get an idea of what number you're trying to talk about. All right, we've got 4 shapes here. Choose one shape that you think doesn't belong with the rest, and I want you to explain why. Okay, I've got an idea here. One shape that I think does not belong with the rest is this rectangular prism. And that's what this is called here. This is a 3D shape. Do you see how we can see the sides on this shape? It looks like a shape that you could actually hold in your hand. It's not flat. That's because it's a 3D shape. If I look at this square, if I look at this circle, and if I look at this, let's see what that would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexagon. Or pentagon. If I look at all 3 of these shapes, I notice that none of them are 3D shapes. They are 2D flat shapes. So if I had to pick one shape that doesn't belong with the rest, it would be the rectangular prism because it's a 3D shape that has many sides and it sticks out, it pops out. It's something you can hold in your hand. It's not flat like a piece of paper. Now they ask, can you pick one more shape that you think does not belong and give a good reason why it doesn't belong? Okay, so if you had to pick between these three shapes, okay, the square, the circle, or the pentagon, which one would you pick as not belonging to the others? Okay, another reason why this rectangular prism doesn't belong, I just thought of this, all the rest of the shapes are colored in. This is the only shape that is just black and white, no colors. So you need to pick one more shape that does not belong. And I want you to write on the side next to it, why did you choose to get rid of that shape? What made it different from the rest? All right, our last thing that we have on week 3, day 3 for math today, we've got a pattern down here using these little squares. Draw what you think stage 4 of the pattern might look like. Okay, so here's stage 1. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. Okay, there's 4 here. Now here's the next part of the pattern. They used 2, 4, 6, 8 cubes. But do you see how they took this cube and they added 1 on top of it? They added 1 to the side of this one. They added 1 to the bottom of this one, and they added 1 to the side of it. Okay, so it looks like they're adding 1 cube every time. And that looks true over here too, because look, they've added another cube. First, they started out with 1 in each part, then they started with 2, and they ended with 3 cubes for each section. If I were to add all these cubes up, 3, 6, 9, 12. I'd have 12 cubes. Okay, you see how the cubes are getting bigger every time, and they're adding 1 more onto the pattern. So here is your job. Somewhere on your paper, you need to show me what it would look like if this pattern kept on going. Okay, we know that they add 1 more square every single time. Okay, so if they add 1 more square every single time, you're going to add a square right here. Right? You're going to add a square right here, okay? So what would stage 4 be of this pattern? You need to draw it for me somewhere next to the pattern that you see here. We've got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Every time they add an extra cube, so what would the last stage 4 pattern look like? You need to draw that, okay? Just like how they have drawn it for you. That marks the end of our day 3 on week 3. And if you have any questions, please let me know.